107 years later, explorers uncovered a shipwreck frozen in time beneath the icy Antarctic waters. Announced in September 2025, the discovery provides fresh insight into one of history's most enduring survival stories. Using advanced three-dimensional scanning, researchers captured extraordinary details of the wreck, offering a rare glimpse into the past, one long sealed beneath ice and sea. Now, let's dive deeper into this incredible discovery and what it means. The original expedition. In 1914, famous explorer Ernest Shackleton led an ambitious journey to Antarctica. He was Anglo-Irish and already known for daring adventures. Shackleton's team had 26 men, all ready for a dangerous mission, to cross the entire continent of Antarctica. They planned to leave on August 8, 1914, sailing through South Georgia Island and into the Weddell Sea. Their goal was huge, almost unimaginable at the time. This wasn't just about exploring, it was about testing human courage, teamwork, and survival in one of the coldest, harshest places on Earth. The Antarctic was far tougher than anyone expected. Temperatures often dropped below 76 degrees below zero. Thick sea ice trapped their ship, Endurance, many times. The freezing water around them was dangerous, falling in could mean death. On top of that, brutal winds and fierce snowstorms made every day a battle. During the long, dark winters, the sun disappeared for months. This made life even harder and tested the men's spirits. Despite these challenges, Shackleton and his crew never gave up. They worked together, fixing problems, sharing food, and keeping each other motivated. They built sledges and tents, and they stayed careful with their supplies. Every day was a fight to survive, but they faced it with determination and teamwork. This expedition became famous not just for the goal, but for the extreme conditions the men faced. Their journey and struggle in the frozen Antarctic set the stage for one of the greatest survival stories ever told. Even more than 100 years later, people are amazed by their courage and determination. But Antarctica had surprises waiting. The ice would soon test every ounce of their courage and determination. The entrapment. Just 2 days after leaving South Georgia, Shackleton and his crew ran into big trouble. Thick sea ice surrounded their ship, Endurance, and it slowed down almost completely. No matter how hard they tried, the ice began to lock the ship in place. The men quickly realized that this journey was going to be far more dangerous than they had imagined. By February 1915, a small patch of open water appeared ahead. The crew tried everything to free the ship. They cut through ice that was as much as 18 feet thick. Huge blocks of ice, each weighing nearly 20 tons, had to be removed by hand. It was back-breaking work in freezing temperatures. Despite their courage and hard work, the channel they made was too narrow. The ice quickly refroze, trapping the ship again. After days of exhausting effort, the men had no choice but to give up. Even though the situation was frightening, Shackleton and his crew stayed calm and worked together, knowing they had to survive. Weeks turned into months, and the Endurance became completely stuck. Ice surrounded the ship on all sides. Over time, the pressure from the frozen sea began to crush it. The hull creaked and groaned, and the timbers strained under the weight. Life on board became tense and scary, but the men supported each other. Every day was a test of patience, courage, and teamwork. The ship that had started as a brave vessel to cross Antarctica had become a prison in the ice. The crew faced one of the most dangerous situations imaginable, setting the stage for one of the greatest survival stories in history. As months passed, the ice grew stronger. Soon, their floating prison would face an even deadlier threat: the ship's destruction. Almost a year after the Endurance became trapped, Shackleton made a very hard decision. In October 1915, he told the crew to leave the ship. The ice had held the vessel for months, and it was clear it would not survive. The men packed what they could carry into lifeboats and sledges. They took only the most important supplies. Leaving the ship was sad and scary. The Endurance had been their home, their safe place, and a symbol of hope. But Shackleton knew that survival meant leaving it behind and finding a way to safety. Just a few weeks after the crew left, the Endurance began to break apart. The front masts fell under the heavy weight of the ice. The bow, or front of the ship, was crushed as the pressure grew. The stern, or back of the ship, lifted slowly out of the ice. Then, finally, the ship dropped into the cold Antarctic waters. The mighty vessel that had carried Shackleton and his men so far vanished beneath the waves, leaving only ice and snow in its place. Even though the ship was gone, the crew's courage and teamwork kept them alive. They faced freezing winds, dangerous ice, and months of uncertainty, yet they stayed determined. The sinking of the Endurance ended the ship's journey but started a new chapter for the men. They were now on a fight for survival in one of the harshest places on Earth. Their story became legendary, a tale of courage, hope, and the power of people working together. Even after all those dangers, Shackleton and his crew would not give up. With their ship gone forever, the real adventure was just beginning. Could they survive the impossible journey ahead? The crew's survival journey. After leaving the Endurance, Shackleton and his men set up camp on the ice. They used whatever supplies they could salvage from the ship. There was no radio or way to communicate with the outside world. The ice floe they camped on drifted slowly for months. Every day was risky. The ice could break at any moment, and the men had to stay alert. Life on the floating ice was cold, lonely, and dangerous. But the crew worked together, keeping each other safe and trying to stay warm. When it became clear the ice could not hold them forever, Shackleton decided to take the lifeboats. They loaded the wooden boats with supplies and set out across freezing waters. Huge icebergs loomed around them, and massive waves tossed the boats violently. The men rowed, sometimes for hours at a time, with their fingers and toes numb from the cold. Every moment was a fight against the harsh sea. They had to stay strong and work together, because even one mistake could be deadly. After a long and dangerous journey, they finally reached solid ground at Elephant Island. It had been over a year since they first left the ship. But the island was uninhabited and isolated. There was no way to stay there for long. They could rest, but they could not survive on the island forever. Shackleton knew he had to find help. The men were exhausted, cold, and hungry, yet they had survived one of the most incredible journeys in history. Their teamwork, courage, and determination kept them alive, proving the strength of human spirit even in the toughest conditions. Reaching land was only the first step. The most dangerous rescue mission in history was about to begin.